Welcome back, everyone, and welcome, Alex. We have Alex Bickford here to talk about what to do from a finance perspective now that you've submitted all your applications. So, when should families expect, first and foremost, I think, their financial aid offers?
Yeah, well, first, Sally, thanks for having me. And it's really dependent on a couple of different things. Financial aid offers are going to depend on what type of admissions you applied for. So first, if you applied early decision and you've been accepted early decision, or by kind of the new year are expecting to get early decisions, if you are in fact accepted, you should receive a financial aid offer if you submitted the need-based financial aid application. You should receive your need-based financial aid offers at the same time or in around the same 24-hour period of your acceptance for admissions. And the same with merit aid. If your school that you applied to early decision in fact offers merit aid, and if they're going to offer you merit aid, it will be within that same kind of 24-hour period.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of some schools it taking 48 hours, but
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah, exactly. It should be really quickly thereafter.
Quickly, yeah.
Because they give you, obviously, Sally, they give you a certain amount of timeline for you to respond back to them that, yes, I'm taking this, and you need to know your finances for the most part before you commit to that. So they want you to know kind of really readily thereafter.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
For early application, early action, a little bit different. So once again, for the merit perspective, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, you'll get those kind of merit offers pretty readily thereafter, a couple days, but in that same time frame, sometimes even within that same day, in that kind of same correspondence, you may receive a merit offer. A need offer could come earlier on, and a lot of schools are doing it earlier on, but it wouldn't surprise me for it to go into the new year, even into February, to see those aid offers for early action. They try to get them out sooner because they are trying to, in fact, fill a class or at least fill part of a class. So most schools are getting them out pretty readily, but it can delay just a little bit. Regular decision is a whole different ballgame. It's going to depend on when you get accepted. When you get accepted, once again, generally merit offers, if you're going to receive one, it's going to come pretty speedily thereafter. For need-based offers, it could be February, March, even into April timeframe that you see those. Depends on the financial aid deadline at that school, and of course that you have all your documentation in for those applications.
I mean, in general, they want to get that information to you as soon as possible because they want you to enroll.
Right,
and
exactly.
So
they want that good news followed by good news.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, or hopefully you'll see it as good news.
Right,
and if
exactly.
not, hopefully they're giving you enough time that you can, maybe appeal, for example.
Yeah, so that's one of my kind of final points there. But yeah, as these offers come in and as these offers stack, I think it's really important to keep track of these offers, especially if you're not, or if you're early decision and you're committing to a school, a little bit different of a picture. But if you are early action or regular decision and kind of waiting for offers to come in, you need to find a way to manage those offers, and an Excel spreadsheet or whatever the case may be, to find out, well, what is my bottom line? And I'm not worried about what the loan offers are, but I'm worried about what my direct costs are, minus any scholarships or grants that I'm getting. So I get that kind of net price. So you can kind of compare from school to school to school. What is my net price at that school? Because at some point, you probably will want to go back to those schools and potentially ask for either additional merit consideration through kind of a negotiation tactic, or if you have extenuating financial circumstances, or if somebody offered you a much better need-based financial aid offer, going to the financial aid office and doing a financial aid appeal, as you mentioned.
And I'll just say, by the way, Alex helped my sister. So my nephew actually got, I think his grant went from $7,000 to $20,000 a year, which was pretty great. My sister was texting me, and she even texted me at one point, the dean of admission just called me. Like, I mean,
was this last year or the year before?
This was the year before last. Like, they were motivated to get my nephew there. He had been admitted.
That's right.
He liked it. You gave my sister some tips. She went to them and basically said, he wants to go here, but it's not enough money as it currently is. And they stepped forward.
And,
So,
and I got to give your sister a big kudos on that one, because I gave her the tips, but she definitely embraced it and ran with it,
mhm.
and did a lot of that legwork that is required. You've got to put in the effort, because if you don't put in that effort, nobody's going to come banging down your door trying to get that kid to enroll for the most part and give you more money. You have to kind of be your own advocate.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, we have lots of like blog posts and things like that on it where we won't
Absolutely.
talk about it a ton more here today because we don't have time, but
And that topic,
absolutely
I'm
look
sure,
it
will
up.
be on the calendar in a future
Oh yeah.
broadcast for sure. Popular topic come February.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Come February. Yes, we it is relevant to the moment. So all right, so just to kind of get into some of the practicalities of it, admission officers often come through a portal, like students get an email, they're told to log into a
Yeah.
portal. So is that how financial aid offers are
Yeah, not
happening? Yeah.
99 times out of 100. And it's important, and for parents out there, this is kind of going to be your first taste of this. Regardless of whether you're paying the bill or not, the communication is not going to you. Financial aid offers are not going to you. They're going to the student. So this is going to be the student's email address. They're not going to be sending you an email and reminding you to have your student check it. So communicate with your students. This is important for them to check their portals, and to go out there. So oftentimes, I haven't received an offer from that school yet. And I said, have you checked the portal? And they'll go out, and in fact, there will be one. So definitely something to watch out for. And just kind of in whatever school that your student does enroll, and once again, this is a topic for another day, but make sure that you have your student sign whatever waivers they need to sign to get you on that billing information and financial aid information out there. If you are going to be in fact paying that bill and need that information and don't want to have to go through your student, that would be something to do.
Yeah, the colleges are not going to message you on Discord or whatever the latest thing is. I mean,
No.
like they are, we talked about this when it came to admission stuff. We are old people. We used email very comfortably. Like the rest of it is
Right.
not so much our thing. So,
And that will be interesting to see as a new generation moves into admissions offices and as a newer generation comes in to schools, how they'll communicate with students. But the key thing is they're contacting your student and not you.
yeah. Yes, yes, very key. So yeah, you kind of need to be on the student to make sure that they're checking their
Right.
email. That's the biggest thing, at least until that shifts for sure.
Right.
Any like additional thoughts? I mean, you talked about tracking offers using a spreadsheet. What are some of the are there other ways to track it? Is it really just going to the portal and then putting the information into the spreadsheet? Like,
So, I mean, for clients of ours, we have a cost comparison tool out there on your portal. For folks who are not, there are a lot of different kind of financial websites. Oftentimes, student loan lenders and state-based lenders may have a comparison tool on their website. So those would be kind of things to look at. But whichever way you can, even if it's just jotting it down on paper and saying, this is what the cost is at this school, this is what I got for free money, and here's my bottom line. That's going to be a really important piece. And if you haven't started to have the conversations around the dinner table about costs and about affordability and about your budget, now is certainly the time to do so. And as these offers come in, what I say is a student who hasn't had a conversation with a parent about budget and about cost doesn't have a clue about what the parent's budget and cost criteria are. So there's nothing worse than a student getting ready to enroll and making their decision and parents saying, this is just not going to work for us. Better to have that conversation now. I mean, it would have been better in the junior year even, but better to have that conversation now than May 1st is coming around and you're getting ready to write a deposit check.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough. I've heard so many tales of student gets into their dream school. The parent has never said a word about money previously. And suddenly the parents are saying, we can't afford this. And it's fine. The parents can't always afford things, but they needed to know that ahead of time, I think.
Yeah, open line of communication. And listen, in today's economy, it's not uncommon that you thought when you applied that maybe you were going to be able to afford it. And stuff happened and you can't. And after you go through that financial aid appeal process, and I stress that hugely now, I know that there's a lot of layoffs going on, and I hope
Mhm.
none of you out there are impacted by that, but I'm sure some of you are. So do those financial aid appeals, let the colleges know what's going on. And then after that, if things still don't work out, you've got to be really clear with the student. And even before you do the appeal, if this does not work out, that we can't deposit here, we can't afford this.
Mhm.
But certainly, let the school know and bring them in. Oftentimes they can help.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe they can meet you in the middle at
Right.
least. So, all right. Well, Alex, thank you so much.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Sally.
All right. So definitely, listeners, you should join us next week for the January 12th show, because you'll hear about what college students can do to get a job when they graduate. And no, it isn't just about having a business major, and also how admission officers read an application. So those will be two super valuable segments. I also want to remind you all about our archives, which are available 24/7 on the Voice America website. And on our webpage at blog.getintocollege.com. I'm going to recommend again, I did this already, the December 22nd show, because our host Ian Fisher talked with guests about how to use the Common Data Set, which is a data set all about colleges. It's really like the source of information that's going to be used by all those other sources that you might be looking at, those other web pages. And then also the Bureau of Labor Statistics Occupational Outlook Handbook, such a great resource.
Yeah.
Nobody seems to know about it, including very well-informed people. So listen to the December 22nd show, find out about the Occupational Outlook Handbook. And don't forget, we're here every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific.